Sup everyone, I'm Slash in desperate need of a haircut, and today is March 25th, 2023, and I'm on my way to go and see Shazam, Fury of the Gods. Let's do this. Oh no, that is so sad. There's just this one lonely glove abandoned from its brother, with no hand to keep it warm or have a purpose in life. It's like, what else is a glove gonna do? You know, like how in Toy Story that toys talk about how as long as they're being played with, they're happy? I figured that it's kind of like that with gloves too, because what else do gloves do? They sit there and they wait for us to wear them. So as long as they're being worn, I guess they'd be happy. But that one isn't, because it's been abandoned and its brother is missing. Unless both of them have been dropped, but just not at the same place. That'd be even sadder, because now they have to find each other first and then find a new owner. Oh my god, Pixar, make that movie Gloves, the movie. No, actually, that'd be terrible. Don't make that movie. Wow, this is easily the busiest that I've ever seen this theater. Like, there's actually people in here. I mean, it's not crowded, but there's people here. Okay, so it's about 1:28, meaning that there's about 20 minutes. So I made pretty good time. So I'm just gonna get my thing and then maybe look at the posters and then get in line for some food, and then it'll probably be 1:50 before I know it. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Call the press, guys. This is probably the 5th time I've been at this theater to do these movie reviews. That's just a rough guess, because there's at least 4 this year. And then there was Spider-Man last year, and then Thor: Love and Thunder, and then Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and Ant-Man and the Wasp. So yeah, 5. Because one of those was at a different theater, but out of all those times, this is the first time that they've ever asked, hey, do you have a ticket? I need to see your ticket, and then rip it. So basically, I could have, if I wanted to, just walked into a theater and seen a movie. Of course I didn't, because that's wrong, but I just think it's interesting. Also, oh no, this is the same one that we've been seeing most of our movies at. Same one for, this is the same theater for Spider-Man, and I think Multiverse of Madness, because Thor: Love and Thunder was 1 right there, and then Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania was also that one, and now we're back at 4 again. So yeah, oh yes, and I was right, it is about $14 just for the ticket. So now I have maybe $15 left, so I don't know if that's going to be enough to get nachos and a drink, but we'll see. If I can't get the nachos, then I can't get the nachos. It's not the end of the world, but we'll see. There's a really long line, and now there's 15 minutes until the movie starts, so I'm not sure if I'm going to do this, because like half of these check register thingies are just not working, and it's moving pretty slowly. I like to watch the trailers, so I usually try and get there like exactly on the dime, but I don't know, it might not be possible this time because it's just so busy. Alright, so it's 1:40 and almost at the end of the line, so I should just barely have enough time to do this, but I'm probably not going to have enough from nachos, but we'll see, because the nachos are already made. You don't have to wait for them like popcorn. It's going to be cutting it pretty close, but this is a different kind of cutting it close than with Thor: Love and Thunder, because with that one I was afraid I wasn't going to get to the theater in time. With this one, I'm not sure I'm going to be done with this line in time. Okay, so it's my turn, and still 16 minutes to go before the movie starts. Well, actually no, 6 minutes, but the theater door is right there, so it'd be pretty hard for me to miss it. So I think we're gonna be just in time for the trailers, because even if it says it starts at 150, usually there's still that pre-show thing, like turning your cell phones off and some of those ads. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. I don't know if I'll be able to get nachos, but I definitely need a drink. Okay, so I got my nachos. It came to the same amount of money as the one ticket, so worked out pretty good. First of all, I want to talk about the trailers, because the Super Mario Brothers movie looks incredible, and I actually want to see that. So I think what I'm going to do instead is see that instead of Blue Bolt, and I'll watch Blue Bolt later, because I really want to see the Super Mario Brothers movie. I saw like the first full-length trailer, and it looks amazing, and the graphics are so good. It looks like it close to real life as possible, and it seems that this time Nintendo is involved. We still didn't hear any of the trademark Italian accent, so I don't know why they didn't hire Charles Martinet, but the movie still looks incredible, and this is the first thing we saw of Luigi, and then they're referencing how he has, how Mario looks like him, and then Bowser's torturing him, and he pulls out one of his whisker hairs. I like that a lot. That was really funny. And Peach is a babe in this game, and her voice actress sounds just like Jennifer Taylor, but she's actually saying things now, as opposed to just saying small sentences. And then the Toads, they finally fixed the Toads so that they don't sound so damn annoying, as opposed to, I don't even know if I can do Toad. It was, because as opposed to their normal voices, which is like, hello! Now they're like, but we're all cute! Look at us! We can't fight, we're adorable! Wow, that is a strong echo. Yeah, so anyway, I want to see that now. Okay, so moving on to Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Based on the fact that I just saw it, I think I actually like this one better than the original. It was really good. I loved it. But my opinion might change a little bit later, after I'm not so high on the experience, but I loved it. First of all, I liked the concept of the villains, and I liked how they explained, I like how there was consequences for the way that Shazam gets his powers. We never think about the fact that they're not just imbuing him with powers that are like the gods. They are literally giving him powers that used to belong to gods. And I like how he inadvertently caused this, because there used to be barriers that would prevent them from entering Earth, but then when he snapped the staff at the end of the first movie so that the evil guy couldn't use it, he also inadvertently set this plot's story in motion. And I like that, because I like when movies use things that they did in the first one that seem inconsequential and then turn them into something incredibly dangerous. So I really like storytelling like that. I thought all the characters were a lot less annoying, and I like how they didn't try and do a Stranger Things, and they just said that it's been 4 years since the events of the last movie, because it has been 4 years. So they're not just trying to say, it's not like Stranger Things where the kids are now 4 years older and all of a sudden it's only been 1 year chronologically in the show. They didn't do that. So Billy is now 14 because he is now almost 18 because he was 14 in the last movie. So I like how they did that, and I like how they're not using Michelle Borth as superhero Mary anymore. I don't know why they did that in the first place. Michelle Borth is gorgeous, but so is Mary's actress, and she was already fully grown. So in terms of the logistics of how the powers work, didn't really make sense for her to get older still, because she's already an adult. But anyway, that was a minor thing. And I liked the parents a lot more, and I liked the dynamics of the family, and I liked how they finally had a lab, and I liked how they had been using all those different doors that they couldn't figure out what they did. What happens is the three daughters of Atlas come to Earth, and they want to take the powers back from the six Shazams, and they fix the staff that they broke, and it ends up being an all-powerful weapon. And they became immediately threatening to me when they show that they can literally just strip them of their powers instantly. But the only problem with that is that they do that at the beginning, but then during the final climactic fight, even though Lucy Liu is still holding the staff that she could just zap Billy with one time, and then he would lose his powers, and then there'd be no one left to stop him. She never does that anymore. So I guess it's like a plot device, or like maybe they're trying to say that like there has to be a specific range. But then earlier they had superhero Mary trying to distract them by flying in the air, she chases after him with a dragon, and then she zaps her, and then she loses her powers, and then she's falling to the ground, and then Shazam catches her. But yeah, I just thought it was kind of convenient how they show that these characters are using the staff to literally strip the powers away, and then that leads into like the final climactic thing is how they discovered that the staff is actually like a giant battery, and so that all the magic that they're taking away from people, it's all being stored in that staff, and then that's how they come up with the idea to turn it into a bomb and then blow it up, and then Billy dies, but then Wonder Woman shows up out of nowhere and just decides to revive him, which was, I kind of thought something like that was going to happen, but I didn't know why Wonder Woman would be there. The Shazam movies are kind of self-contained, and they haven't really branched out into any of the other ones, but in the first one they showed Superman, it's just not his face, and now in this one they showed Wonder Woman, but they actually did show her face, so it was actually Gal Gadot. And I liked they had the three daughters of them, and then there's Helen Mirren, which is the oldest one. She seemed to be the leader, but then Lucy Liu, the middle, has more sinister things, because they all want the same thing, which is to take their powers back and then go back home and then rebuild their world. But then Lucy Liu decides that she wants to make humans suffer more, so then she takes control, and then Helen Mirren, and then the youngest one, who I don't remember. I think it was just Anne is what her nickname was. But I don't know who her actress was because she was pretty new. But and then they did a thing where they had her being like a double agent at first, where she's undercover at the high school, and then Freddy gets a crush on her, and then they end up having a cute relationship. But then as soon as she wanted to see the powers, and as soon as she started saying, "Oh, do you know when the guy's gonna be here?" I'm like, "Oh, she's one of the daughters." So then like about 20 minutes later in the video, we're like, "Oh, yeah, no, she is one of the daughters," and I'm like, "Yeah, kind of obvious." But I liked how there was a dynamic between the three sisters, and I liked how they didn't see eye to eye, but they were all doing the same thing, and I like how there was a lot of side switching. Like at one point, Lucy Liu kills Helen Mirren and then takes over for good, and then she strips Anna of her powers so that it's just her, and then she takes control, and then that's how it ends. But I don't know, the first one, it just felt kind of underwhelming by comparison. Like the stakes were still high. It's just that it was all contained, because the only thing that Mark Strong wanted in the first movie was to kill the champion. So he wasn't really going around and hurting other people. At least not at first. So it was very one-on-one. But with this one, the stakes were so much higher, because they end up planting the seed that's supposed to regrow their world in Earth, and then that ends up bringing out all these monsters like unicorns and chimeras and harpies and minotaurs and cyclopses, and it was awesome. It was so cool. The special effects were really good, and I liked the way that they cut, like the tree gets corrupted because it's not supposed to be on Earth. And they end up like, the roots create like these eggs that like burst, and then the creatures crawl out of it, and that was really cool. And I like how Shazam is in here again, but he's powerless, so that he, like the wizard Shazam, not like Billy Shazam. But I'm actually not sure how if this is how it would have been in the comics too, because originally Shazam, the character, like the superhero, his original name was Captain Marvel, and he transformed by saying Shazam. But after I guess a legal dispute with Marvel, they changed the character's name to be Shazam, so that he says Shazam to turn into Shazam, as opposed to saying Shazam to turn into Captain Marvel. So they showed here that all the powers that he got, it was actually an acronym that spelled Shazam, like the strength of Hercules, the agility, the Hercules, and then it spells out Shazam downwards when you take the first names of all the gods. Yeah, so it was a really good movie. There was a lot of good effects, and there was this dragon that was just awesome, and it delved a lot more into like the Greek mythology stuff that I didn't think they would see, and I kind of felt like a bit too Thor-y, except Thor is Norse mythology. No, I really liked it. Right now, I would probably give it an 8.5. I thought it was great. At first, I wasn't too sold on it because I thought that the fact that there's now 6 Shazams would kind of like lessen the severity of things because there's like way more heroes, and Shazam on his own is already like really powerful, and so now there's 6 of them. But I thought that they handled that so that Shazam could still be like Billy Batson's Shazam could still be like the star by literally taking away the powers of the other ones. By the end of it, they all get their powers back anyway, but it was I think they did a really good job, and apparently the reviewers haven't been so thrilled of it, and they think the first one is better, but personally, I think I like this one better, but I'd have to wait a couple of months until I'm not so kind of drunk on the experience. I don't know if that's like an accurate thing to say. But anyway, that's all I gotta say about the movie. I would, probably an 8.5, maybe a 9 right now. So the next one is the next review we're doing is probably going to be Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and I might be bringing a friend from work to see that with me, so you might get 2 reviews at the end, but I don't know how she feels about cameras because I haven't talked to her about that yet. But that'll be probably a new character that may or may not come up every now and then, because my circle of friends in Edmonton is now slowly growing. So yeah, she didn't want to come with me to these other ones because she hadn't seen the first Shazam and she hadn't seen the other Ant-Man, but she has seen Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 and Volume 2. Oh, and it seems like James Gunn has now switched sides, so he came back to direct the 3rd Guardians movie, but then now it looks like he's the CEO of the of the DC Extended Universe. So it looks like with this new Flash movie, which I don't care about because no, I don't care. I'm still going to be mostly a Marvel person, but I like Shazam. But I decided to see this one because I like Zachary Levi as an actor, and I think he's very funny. So it just so happened that he was in a DC movie, so that's why I saw it, not because I actually want to see the DC movies. But it looks like they're finally doing that Flashpoint thing that they had been talking about forever, where the Flash goes through time and like rewrites history, because I did hear that they were going to do a soft reboot of the DC Extended Universe, and it seems like they're doing that because they can and because they have a new director that's going to oversee things. And Sean Gunn is very good at making Guardians of the Galaxy movies, but I don't really give a rat's ass about the DC Extended Universe. So I'll probably check out Blue Beetle on Blu-ray when it comes out, or maybe see if I can find it online. But again, that's because of that's because of the main actor from Cobra Kai being in it, and not because it's DC, just like how I saw this because I like Zachary Levi and not because it's DC. Yeah, but besides, there's been a lot of controversy towards Miles Teller now, so I'm kind of surprised that they kept him there in the role. Oh, and I didn't mention that they changed the Shazam suits to make them less ridiculous, because that giant lightning bolt that glowed isn't there anymore, and now it's just like a nice little golden thing. And I didn't even notice it until halfway through the movie, and I'm like, oh yeah, the suit is different. Yeah, but anyway. 8.5, maybe a 9. Really enjoyed it, but now I'm going to go home. And thank you for joining me, and I'll see you some other time in the near future for more cool videos. Bye! Only in theaters, April what? What's the release date? They don't say it there. I'm just trying to see which one is coming out first. Oh, no, you know what? It's definitely that one. Because Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is May 5th. So the next movie we're gonna go see is actually the Super Mario Brothers movie. Because that looks really good. Just look at the animation. Like, you can actually see like the fibers, like the hair fibers on the mustaches. It just looks amazing. Just the fidelity of the visual power of the animation is so much better than the other Illumination movies I've seen, which was basically just Despicable Me 1 and 2 and Minions. Never got around to watching 3. But yeah, you got Mario, Luigi, Donkey Kong, Toad, Kamek, Peach, and then, I don't know who that is. Is that a paratrooper? Yeah, anyway. Now we're going.